Chapter 6. The Masks We Wear. The morning air was sharp and still. In the palace, breakfast was a quiet affair. Fruit and spiced bread served under the shade of a veranda overlooking the east garden. Poirot dined alone. He preferred it that way. By 10 o'clock, he had requested that members of the household meet with him privately in the blue salon. A narrow room with tall windows, faded carpets, and an antique clock that ticked too loudly. It was a room for confessions, or at least for their more socially acceptable cousin, the evasive admission. Colonel Rajesh Singh came first. He entered briskly, nodded once, and seated himself with the stiff posture of a man who disliked idle conversation and liked interrogations even less.
I take it this is necessary?
He asked.
For my peace of mind, yes,
Poirot replied.
Let us begin simply. You were in the palace at the time of each death?
Of course, I live here.
And you saw nothing unusual?
Nothing I would describe as unusual in this place.
Poirot raised an eyebrow.
A curious answer.
Rajesh folded his arms.
Look, Monsieur Poirot, my father's court is full of old superstition and whispered nonsense. Half the staff believe in curses. I don't. People die, sometimes abruptly.
3 deaths, in 3 locations, all connected to the royal household.
Coincidence?
And your stepmother?
Rajesh's jaw tightened.
A religious woman. Strange, but not unkind. She kept to herself.
You did not like her?
I didn't know her. She married my father late. She was younger than I. What would we talk about, gardening?
Poirot tapped his fingers together.
You say you didn't know her, yet you seem sure she was strange.
Rajesh stood.
This is a waste of time.
Au contraire,
said Poirot softly.
Time is never wasted when it reveals the nature of character.
Lady Rukmini was next. She arrived with a perfumed handkerchief and the air of someone who considered inquiry a performance and intended to enjoy her role.
I told your predecessor, what was his name? Inspector Chaudhary, that this family invites its own ruin. You cannot build on a foundation of secrets and expect the roof to hold.
You believe your brother is keeping secrets?
She sipped a cordial.
My brother is a man of pride. Pride in excess becomes opacity. He refuses to see what festers.
And what festers, Lady Rukmini?
She shrugged delicately.
Resentment, ambition, jealousy. The usual ingredients in royal tragedy.
And you?
Oh, I have no ambition left.
She said sweetly.
Only memory.
Poirot leaned forward.
What do you remember about the night the Maharani died?
She was reading aloud to Jai. The boy had fallen asleep, or so I thought. I passed the garden path, heard nothing, and 10 minutes later, the alarm was raised.
Was anyone else nearby?
A servant. The Englishwoman, I believe. But no one ever asks the right question.
Which is...
Not who was nearby, but who should not have been.
Poirot nodded slowly. Miss Anna Masterson, when she arrived, was composed, calm, and very slightly guarded. She sat beside the window, light outlining her copper hair.
You've spoken to the others, I presume. I imagine they've given you their versions of the truth.
I am here to collect all the versions,
Poirot replied.
Then I arrange them?
Anna smiled faintly.
Like china figurines on a mantle.
Sir, precisely.
They discussed her time in the household. 2 years as governess, hired on recommendation from a Colonel Witherspoon in Delhi.
The Maharani wanted someone English educated but sensitive to Indian customs.
She said.
I suppose I passed the test.
And the child?
Intelligent, reserved, he was very attached to her. Her death unmoored him.
Poirot studied her face.
And you?
I was fond of her, but she changed.
In what way?
She began carrying charms, pieces of string, glass beads. I think she visited the temple more than was considered proper.
For a queen?
For a wife whose presence was resented by others.
Poirot nodded slowly.
Did she believe she was in danger?
Anna's gaze did not waver.
I think she believed the palace remembered old things and that she had awakened something best left alone.
Dr. Mishra was brief, apologetic, and nervous.
I can't explain it.
He repeated.
3 deaths, all within minutes. No lesions, no signs of poison, no hemorrhaging. Just as if life simply left them.
You performed autopsies?
Discreetly. But I was told to keep findings vague. His Highness did not want scandal.
And did you find anything at all?
One detail. All 3 had an elevated pulse before death, as if they'd seen something or run.
But no damage to the heart?
Number.
Could fear kill?
Dr. Mishra sighed.
Yes, but fear leaves a mark. These bodies had none.
That evening, Poirot retired to his room and placed all the pieces before him. Mental cards in a puzzle game of shadows and silks. 3 deaths, 1 child, a missing genealogy, a charm in the temple, whispers of resentment, silence, and visions. He whispered,
There is a pattern. There is always a pattern.
and in the silence that followed, he thought, for the first time, not of a murderer, but of a witness who had not spoken yet, because they were not alive.